Welcome back to Morning Coffee. I am Mark Cook, and this is my favorite bar to Friday morning. It is the Reputation Wrap with Gary Frisch from Swordfish Communications. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you. Happy Friday the 13th.
Yeah, right? Full moon, Friday the
No
13th.
black cats in my path today.
This is a PR dream, right? Everybody is going to do all sorts of crazy stuff today, and then you're going to have to clean up the damage on Monday.
Yeah, that is something with a full moon. Did you say it's a full moon? I didn't hear that.
It's a full moon,
Okay.
and it's Friday the 13th.
Okay, well, the ERs are going to be hopping for sure.
Yeah, well, I can't wait. I'm going to go out tonight, and I'm just going to hang out and see what happens. But let's talk about some awesome stuff in the news. This week was a blessing for the public relations industry. The first thing I want to talk about today, and the first thing I think you want to talk about, is the purest publicity stunt in the history of publicity stunts.
This is how you do it, folks. If you're a known company and you're looking to get your name out there, then just rename yourself America for a period of time, like Budweiser has done this week. Starting May 23rd, I think the America branded cans are going to be on sale. This is quite the coup for them because we're talking about it.
Right.
Because everybody's talking about it. All the media have covered this. There's not any major media outlet that hasn't written about this. And regardless of how the public feels about it, and there's been some pushback on this whole thing, regardless of that, they are, I'm sure, eating up the publicity.
Oh yeah, and it's really interesting because this is a cool year because a couple different things are going on, and it's kind of what's motivating them to do it. We have the Olympics coming up in August, and we have an election coming up in November, and they've already said that they're going to keep the name through the election.
Yes.
Right, so it's going to be almost Thanksgiving, and we're still going to have our summer America beers at the Thanksgiving table, right? But what they're trying to do really is build patriotism, but in in a way that rubs people the wrong way, because they sell a lot of beer.
Well, let's make no mistake. They're not so much trying to build patriotism as they're trying to build profits.
Of course.
And I think what's rubbed people the wrong way is that the name of our country is being used for commercial purposes, as if that's never done before.
Right.
But the fact that Anheuser-Busch is not an American company, and a lot of this beer is actually bottled and canned in South America.
Right.
So that's created some pushback for them. But, I say more power to them. It's when I first heard this, I thought they were rebranding it for all time America, which I thought was pretty cool in itself.
Right.
But then when I heard it's just through the election, it's it struck me more as a short-term publicity stunt, and they're going to reap the rewards from it regardless.
They are, and you know what? Beer companies have been doing stuff like this since the beginning of beer, right? They change the bottle a little bit, they change the can a little bit, they re-release it, and they tell everybody, "Oh, look at our new can!" And one of the companies went back to their old logo. Right, they had a logo for a long time. They went back to their old one. And they were like, "Here's our new old can again," right? Yeah. And people bought it like crazy.
It's nostalgia. It's retro.
Right.
It's
but
chic,
this is a ploy that these companies they try all the time. And you know what's amazing about it is that it works almost every single time.
Well, like I said, there's some naysayers online, and you know what? They're free to criticize them. I think it's a brilliant move from a PR standpoint,
yeah.
And I think that a company like Anheuser-Busch can certainly absorb some negative comments on Twitter, for heaven's sake.
Right.
Twitter is the sounding board for our nation now, so if anything is going to resonate, it's going to resonate on Twitter. And there have been some comments, but I think there have been some positive comments as well. I'm not sure people are going to be hoisting their beer and toasting America because it says America, just like I don't think they hoist their beer and toast Budweiser.
Right.
I think the company's done plenty in terms of patriotic marketing. Everything from sponsoring the Super Bowl year after year.
Right.
Clydesdales, in the American, 4th of July parades,
right.
Both in real life and on commercials, and all those, Tug at the Heartstrings commercials, set in Americana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that this is something out of the blue where they just deciding we're going to jump on the patriotic angle to get some sales. I think this is something that's kind of long been brewing.
And you talk about the guy that might make a negative comment on Twitter, but you have to realize in the world we live in that that same guy that's making a negative comment on Twitter, he still may be buying a six-pack when he goes to the liquor store because it says America. And that's kind of the disconnect, that you never really know what's motivating somebody or how they're really going to act when push comes to shove. But I think it's kind of interesting that what we're going to see is a lot of people throughout the summer cheering for the U.S. in the Olympics and kind of making it almost like a little bit of a joke, right? I'm drinking some America, right? They're going to be pounding their beers and all that. It kind of works together. It becomes an amazing marketing campaign and a PR stunt that works, and that can be actually a positive thing, right?
Yes, it can be. And what's cool is, from another PR point of view, a small craft brewery in Michigan yesterday revealed that they are coming out, and this was tongue-in-cheek, they're coming out with their own beer called Murica, M-U-R-I-C-A, the red, white, and blue logo over a map of the United States. This is their patriotic beer.
Right.
And you know what? They jumped on this, and they're that's what we call newsjacking.
Yeah.
And they're getting their share of press, even though it was just done kind of as a joke, and they acknowledge it was just a
yeah.
joke.
But you've talked about
they want to make beer great again.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. That's funny though. But you've talked about newsjacking before, and that's basically taking a story that's already in the news and putting your own little spin on it, and promoting it and getting it out there.
And doing it fast.
And doing it
while
fast.
The media is still talking about it. So while everybody's attention is focused on Budweiser, this company came out, and I give them a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. So I got to take a quick break here, but when we come back, we're going to talk about another really hot topic that has a ton of people talking. So stick around. That's Gary Frisch. I'm Mark Cook. We'll be right back on the Radio Vision Network.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facials, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more. Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee. I am Mark Cook. We are in the middle of the Reputation Rap with Gary Frisch. Gary, we have something we want to get into, but I want to mention something that we talked about last week real quick. The book is called Squeeze Play. The author is Gary Frisch. He's sitting right next to me. Go check out this book. It is awesome. It's about baseball, and it's about kind of the behind the scenes and the on the field and everything about baseball. It's a really cool book. Google it. Look for it on online.
If you like Bull Durham, you'll love this book.
Yeah, check it out. Help Gary out. Buy the book, will you? Seriously. So the next PR-related item we wanted to get into is about this guy that just won't go away. He is the bad news guy that just, I feel like every couple years I'm going to have to hear about this guy, and it really bothers me.
Yeah, it is seeming that way every couple of years. George Zimmerman, the man who shot and killed Trayvon Martin, he is back in the news because in a boneheaded move, he attempted to auction off the gun that just came back into his possession that he used to shoot Trayvon Martin with. He posted that he is honored and humbled to offer this gun, this piece of American history, for sale. I say past tense that he tried to because first one and then a second gun broker website removed the auction.
Yeah.
In all their good wisdom.
I mean, listen, I try to stay fairly level-headed, and I don't get too fired up here on Morning Coffee too often, but this is something that I could get really fired up and really upset about. This is ridiculous on so many levels, but really who I have a problem with is the auction house that accepted the gun for auction, okay? It's one thing for George Zimmerman to be deluded in his own mind to think that somebody else would actually want that item is really pretty atrocious in itself. But, Gary, someone else had to agree to auction off that item for.
Well, they're both online auction gun brokerage sites.
Yeah, but you can't just put your stuff up there. It has to get approved by somebody.
Yes, it needs to be approved by somebody. So at some point, somebody thought that it was okay probably before some public blowback, and they chose to take it down in both cases. He also offered this to the Smithsonian Institution, apparently for money. They are completely avoiding it as well.
Of course.
I can only imagine that he is very hard up for cash. The listing price for both auctions was $5,000. That was the starting bid for a gun that normally sells for on these sites for about $200. So there is some notoriety behind it, but it was just very poor thinking on his part to do this. Because Mark, once you are a reviled, notorious person, the last thing you want to do is revive your profile.
Yeah.
You want to go off into the night and try to lead as normal a life as possible. For him, it hasn't been so easy. He's been involved in a domestic abuse incident, a road rage incident. He's been charged. He's probably paid some fines, gotten some tickets, and every time that happens, he's in the news. But this is just kind of over-the-top behavior.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
It's just from a personal.
We're talking about a guy that should be in jail anyway. So, I really don't get me started on this whole thing, because the whole thing is ridiculous. I mean, really, from the beginning of this situation to the end, and I have a really long memory, and I know you remember it very well. This is not something that should just get swept under the rug and that we all forget about. That this guy ended a life for no reason whatsoever, and now I don't care that he's in financial trouble or problems,
no,
right?
Nobody
he's
does.
trying to profit.
Nobody wants to hear his name, and he's opening himself up to all kinds of scrutiny and all kinds of notoriety once again, which is
terrible.
Completely uncalled for. And it'd be like Walter Palmer, the dentist who killed the lion in Zimbabwe last year. It'd be as if he wanted to make some dough and put that gun that he used, that rifle he used, up for auction,
right?
Or decided to become a spokesperson for a gun group, perhaps,
right?
That's just opening up a wound that people haven't quite healed from yet, and it puts a new target on your back. So to
Well,
speak.
that guy is a great example because what he did was, and very quietly, he issued an apology and then disappeared.
And then disappeared. We haven't heard from him since.
Right, and I
He
don't even,
quietly reopened his practice months later.
yeah,
I don't know how that's going because the media has gone on to other things, which is what you want to happen
Right.
if you're involved with anything, whether intentional or shooting, going on a big game hunt in Africa and killing a beloved animal. That's what you want to happen. You just want to go off into the night,
Right.
And you don't want to revive it. If something happens beyond your control and it comes up again, if Walter Palmer is suddenly indicted and extradited back to Zimbabwe to stand charges, that's out of his control.
Right.
But to go out and do something like George Zimmerman did, that's just ridiculous.
yeah, it is because that was 100% and completely under his control. He did it under his own volition, and that was, it's terrible, Gary. So
Now he said that as a free American, he can do whatever he likes with his possessions.
Okay.
And the gun was returned to him, and he's correct. He can do whatever he likes with it.
Right.
The wise thing to do would have been to sell it as a handgun, not the handgun.
Right.
And make $250 or $300 for, or sell online or sell it at a pawn shop or gun shop. And then he would have made a little bit of coin, and nobody would have been any the wiser.
Yeah, and honestly though, like in some way, like why would you even want it? Just get rid of it, right? I wouldn't want it. That's
Yeah,
a constant reminder of a horrible, horrible situation.
Yeah.
And then you try to make a couple bucks of it.
And it shows that he's not losing any sleep over the whole
Yeah,
incident.
yeah. What a low. Anyway, so Gary, this went so fast. We gotta wrap it up. But I want you to tell everybody whatever you want to tell them. You want to remind them about that book. You want to tell them about Swordfish
My
Communications.
website is swordfishcomm.com, as in short for communications. Look for me and look for my book Squeeze Play on Amazon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in this morning, Gary.
It was fun today.
We look forward to next Friday and the Reputation Wrap on Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network. This is Gary Frisch. I am Mark Cook. We are taking a quick break, and we'll be right back on Morning Coffee.